Before we start, I'm going to ask you to take a seat. As humans, we sit anywhere between 6 and 10 hours a day. But I can't help but notice people don't talk about where they sit and the experiences of sitting. Examine my kitchen chair. It stands 33 inches tall, the cushion has a 15-inch diameter, and the light green vinyl has a quarter-inch padding on top. On the cushion is where I perch while eating my dinner. I don't know this chair very well. We haven't been together very long, but it has a much better view than the one across the table, unless you're in company. Then the view is perfect. Take this stool. I've never actually sat on it, just dreamed about sitting on it. I can see myself on a brisk fall morning smoking a cigarette. Also something I've never done. Sometimes we also have to think of the chairs that have moved on from their sedentary lifestyle and gone on without us. I used to sit at the Arboretum to watch the sunset after pacing round and round the circular sidewalk paths. Then, I'd sit next to the red clock, listen to the short pre-recorded music. The hip-high wall is no longer there and has been replaced with the daunting carillon. It plays everything between Beethoven to Charlie XCX. Then, there's my desk chair. I've only been in this apartment for a month, so I don't know much about this desk chair. But I do know it can spin really fast. On this bench, I fell in love for the first time. This is where I went when that love fell apart. Here is where I fell in love for the second time. This is where I went when that love fell apart. Sometimes I'll sit here with friends, that's when the stairs can act as bleachers, but often I'll sit there alone, on the railing where my head fits perfectly between the convex rocks, watching the sun set across the horizon, the city building barely peeking out, the birds singing in the trees, the many people passing by. Someone once asked me, "Are you waiting for something?" I think I was, but I didn't quite know what I was waiting for. It could have been the sunset, it could have been something else. I told him I wasn't, and he went on his way. Here is where I sat when I tried to write a poem for my friend's birthday last year. I kept getting distracted by all the people walking by the little boy admiring a dove under the bush, by his sister screaming at that dove, distracted by the music from the nearby bar as the students started to get ready for a night out, distracted by the petunias that were growing so fast that they now cover where I once sat. The poem is still unfinished. Here is my favorite chair. This chair is home. Back in the 80s, this lazy boy recliner was purchased by my grandparents in Springfield, Illinois, along with another recliner. The two would sit side by side for years. In the year before I was born, my grandmother passed away. I'll never know all of the stories this chair has to tell. I'll never know what this chair thought of my grandmother. Growing up, this chair would still be next to my grandfather's recliner. I'd sit next to him during my week-long trips, visiting in the summer. We'd watch whatever was on TV, ranging from the Beverly Hillbillies to the St. Louis Cardinals, but nothing in between. I'd laugh in this chair with my siblings, cousins, and parents as we watched Good Burger for the 100th time. It was a family classic. I'd cry in this chair. The first time was when I read Where the Red Fern Grows for class, and nobody told me that the dogs were going to die. That day, my grandpa was out mowing the lawn, and so I sat in the lazy boy, rocking back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It was comforting. It was there for me. But this chair doesn't belong to just me. I haven't been the only one to cry in this chair. My friends, my floor mates, my exes, they've cried and laughed and experienced so much in this lazy boy, while rocking back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. As much as I want to say this chair is my chair, I can't. No chair belongs to any one person. I'm not even sure that there's a chair out there in the world that's only been sat on by one person. Take a moment to think about where you sit in life. Think about the chairs where creativity rushes forward, or where you just can't help but feel warm inside, or where the chairs seem to travel in packs, or where you see your friend reading a book waiting for you, or when you just want to watch the world move around you, or where there's a story to be read, or when you want to be uncomfortable on the hard cement and comforted by a nice book, or when you just want to hear the roar of a fountain and the hum of the little bugs, or the places where we might just want to sit forever. There are chairs for every person, every emotion, and every feeling all across the world. I mean, we sit 6 to 10 hours a day, so we might as well make it count. Think more about where we sit.